Hello, everyone watching. My name is Uzachi Onkwe, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Student Government Association President for the 2020-2021 school year. I hope that all watching are in good health and graces. Today, we are here to put items into TWU's time capsule that will be opened in 2050, 30 years from now. The purpose of a time capsule is to tell who we are and what we value. What you may think is it's just a drawing or trash, but that may be another person's treasure. In the future, after kept in a time capsule for many years, collecting value and worth. A time capsule helps you capture what is in your heart and transfers your life to paper, photos, and important objects. The items that will be put into this lovely box here all have a significance to this year, this country, and this wonderful school, Texas Women's University. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Chancellor and President, Dr. Kailyn Lucke, our VP of Student Life, Dr. Monica Mendez-Grant, our Student Regent, Donna Tyson, the entire Student Union staff, SGA's advisor, Kyle Boyles, and my amazing SGA Executive Board. We hope that as you see this, you will appreciate the time and effort that was put into making this. Enjoy.
Hello, faculty, staff, and students of 2050. How exciting. I hope this message finds you well and thriving. And I have to tell you, I have so much hope about the future. Really, everything that we do now is about building a better tomorrow. So I am full of curiosity and hope. And if I might say, you in 2050 actually give me courage even today. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm Kailyn Lucke. I'm Chancellor and President of Texas Women's University here at the end of 2020. And 2020 has been a really challenging year for so many across the globe and here in the US, and in some ways more so even here. Yet, through those challenges, we have also witnessed some of the best of humanity. So let me share a little snapshot of what is on our minds as we prepare this time capsule. We are almost a year into one of the worst global pandemics since the Spanish flu, about 100 years earlier. And just yesterday, the US had the worst daily death toll so far at over 3,700 dying from COVID-19. That's 3,700 people dying per day. So we are in a pretty terrible situation. We are also at a point where scientists have developed a vaccine, really more than a dozen different vaccines, using various innovative approaches. And we are perhaps only a couple of weeks away from the first administered dose, with millions more in production and funneling into a distribution system. So I'm sure that in 2050, some of the benefits you enjoy in health have their roots actually in our crisis here in 2020. We have also seen a year of protests and unrest spurred on by the killing of a number of African Americans by police. The people from all walks of life and racial backgrounds have risen up to demand change. The justice system is in need of significant reform to mitigate racial bias and injustice. The pandemic also has exacerbated systemic racial inequalities by killing disproportionately more people of color. And this has been no small part of 2020. Then there is the economic crisis, a domino effect of both a pandemic and injustice fueled protests. We have seen a complete upheaval in daily routines as people commute less, eat out less, travel a lot less, and on the one hand, we have a lot less pollution, which is good, of course, but on the other, millions of people have lost jobs in the tourism and food service industries. And even here in education, we have radically transformed in a short time, moving as much coursework as possible into an online environment. We have been pushed into a new era of socialization via video conference mostly. It's really kind of strange not to see people face to face anymore. But layered on top of these many stressors, we have just come through also a highly contentious presidential election. The uncertainty of the outcome leading up to the elections caused much angst in our community. And all of this disquietude, in turn, fueled a surge in engaged voters, which seems pretty appropriate for the 100-year anniversary since the year when women first were able to vote nationally in this country. It's a pretty big deal. So this was a big year in many, many ways. This year, we also uncovered a time capsule, believe it or not, a time capsule of sorts that Dean Humphreys had placed in the wall of the first building on the Denton campus, what we called All-Male Building. She also penned the words etched beneath a pioneer woman statue that has been here since the 1930s, and I hope it's still here for you today. We found that capsule while remodeling that building for the new Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership. And I will be telling the graduates next week that in spite of all the challenges and angst, I feel confident about the future because of the leadership I have witnessed among them. And I'm sure you're not without your own challenges in 2050, but I feel confident that our pioneering efforts today have paved the way to a better society for you. At least I hope so. I believe that in 2050 that you will have many more women and women of color serving in positions of leadership. And that leadership itself will look different. And I'm certain that you too are working on the foundation for the generations to come. As we say today, I offer you as a saying that will always be relevant. Boldly go. So my first item in the capsule is a Christmas ornament, gold-plated, and it has the fountain that's located in front of the Student Union. And the reason I put that in there because it's symbolic, because the logo was actually inspired by the fountain. And this is one of the areas where all the students hang out all the time. And so it's very much student focused and sort of the inspiration for a lot of things that we did. And I will say also this year in 2020, it inspired the word fluidity, as we've had to be very fluid this year because of all the challenges. The other item is a mask. We all have to wear masks in 2020. And this particular mask has the plaid, which also was created by one of our students. And the third item is a little booklet. We have been starting a collection this year with writings about the pandemic. And this little booklet is a book of poetry that was written by Carla Morton, who's a Texas State Poet Laureate. So there you go. Those are my items.
In 1901, TW had our founding. And more recently, in 2020, TW commemorated the reopening of the Student Union at Hubbard Hall. Hubbard Hall is a jewel on this campus and has long been the living room for students. Fortunately, it has remained largely unchanged throughout this time so that its original character is evident in most places. It had, however, been designed for students of the early 20th century and has not been renovated as the years have passed. The way we interact with each other has changed over time. A distinguishing characteristic of our student body is the desire to exchange thoughts and exchange ideas. We needed a building that would allow for the flow of ideas and to combat social challenges. We know, for example, that by introducing light, that a student can decrease feelings of isolation. So we tried to bring elements of student engagement purposefully into the building. Today, we have a building which is in every respect one of the most functional, one of the most accessible, and one of the most beautiful buildings in Denton. Another project taking place this past year was the renovation of Old Main. While we were reinforcing the building, we were alerted to the discovery of a time capsule, unnoted on any drawing. Its contents were placed on display in the TW library. It is for the creation of a new time capsule that we have come together today. The people who have dedicated their time to creating a new time capsule and identifying its appropriate contents are here today, and they represent our present as we look forward to the future. To quote Dr. Seuss, sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Today, I brought with me 3 items for the time capsule. I brought an ornament to commemorate the opening of Mary's Hall in Parliament Village, since we recently completed construction, and I brought with me a suffragist doll because 2020 marks 100 years since we passed the 19th Amendment, and a mask because we've been recently introduced to COVID-19 and new safety protocols.
Hi, my name is Donna Tyson, and I am the student regent here at Texas Women's University. I am a first-year graduate student for political science, and I am just really thankful to have this opportunity to speak to you about the items that I will be putting in the time capsule. The first item that I will be placing in the time capsule is a letter with a picture enclosed with Dr. Phaeton and I, and hopefully the next student regent or the current student regent can continue the tradition of maintaining closeness with our upper admin and with the student body overall. The second item that I have is a Fitbit, and I wanted to put this in the time capsule because fitness and well-being overall is something that I find really imperative. I've actually had the opportunity to hold events for fitness like biking and hiking, and it's just been an amazing opportunity. So I wanted to leave behind something that kind of represents that, and I don't think that the Fitbit is going to be around whenever you guys see this video, so hopefully we'll be able to see it, take note of it, and move on. So I'm really thankful again for this opportunity.
Hello, my name is Cephanzode, and I'm a senior at Texas Women's University majoring in psychology, and I'm on the SGA Student Government Chief of Staff and the Executive Board. I have three important people I want to put in the time capsule. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Kobe and Gianna Bryant, and Chadwick Boseman, also known as Black Panther. Joan Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also known as RBG, was the second woman appointed as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. She successfully fought against gender discrimination and unified the liberal bloc of the court. Unfortunately, she passed away on September 18, 2020, at the age of 87 due to pancreatic cancer. Kobe Bryant was an American professional basketball player, a shooting guard, and he spent his entire 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's an 18-time All-Star player and a 5-time NBA championship winner. He was regarded as one of the greatest players of the team. He met the love of his life, Vanessa Bryant, at a young age where they married and had 4 girls. His second-born daughter, Gianna Bryant, like her father, was a talented player. Unfortunately, both of their lives were cut short on January 26, 2020. Both Gianna and Kobe, alongside the 7 others, were tragically killed in a helicopter crash. Black Panther is a Marvel comic character that is played by the late actor Chadwick Boseman. He headlined Black Panther in 2018, which focused on the character in his home country, Wakanda. Chadwick Boseman was a superhero on-screen and off-screen. He battled cancer privately while filming one of the iconic African-American characters in movie history. Unfortunately, Boseman passed away on August 28, 2020 from colon cancer.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Tai. I am a chemistry major, currently a senior, plan to graduate in the spring. I am the current Associate Vice President of Finance for the 2020-2021 Student Government Executive Board. So for the items that I chose for the TW time capsule, I picked a logo of BTS and Blackpink because both of those groups help pave the way for Asian and international artists to come in through and really have an opportunity in America, as well as I had made handmade flowers of the TW flower, which is the rosebud, in red and white, because just like our student body and just like a rose, our student body is very strong, powerful, and very beautiful at the same time. We're also very resilient during this pandemic. The last thing that I had chosen was to put coins in to represent the coin shortage of this year, which was very interesting to see because that is a very old and very well-used form of currency. So it's very interesting to see that it's suddenly depleted.
Hello Pioneers, my name is Kailyn Lucke and I'm currently a graduating senior majoring in Human Resource Management with minors in Business Admin and Women's Studies. I am your 2020-2021 SGA Associate VP for Student Orgs. The first item I have chosen is a Fall 2020 cap and gown. Because I am a graduating senior, this is very important to me. I also want to see the evolution of the cap and gown in 30 years. The second item I have chosen is the SGA Black Lives Matter statement. The importance of this item is that this movement has been monumental in 2020 with all the many protests and demand for real change. This will also help us reflect on this movement in 30 years and see what real progress we have made.
First is a painting of Oakley sitting by a water fountain with a mask on. Secondly, I chose this TWU Christmas tree ornament. The image on it is of a few years ago when it snowed on campus and the whole campus was covered in a white blanket. Lastly, I have the Pioneer Pact. This is a promise every student made to protect themselves and others by abiding by the COVID rules.
Hello, I'm Adrian Merritt, a senior majoring in Human Resources Management with a minor in Business Administration. My additions to the time capsules are a Times Magazine commemorative edition announcing that Joe Biden will be the 46th President-elect of the United States, a copy of the school newspaper that was established in 1914, produced by TWU students and are spread across all 3 campuses, and the last item is a copy of the most recent editions of U.S. Today and the Dallas Morning News, with both front page topics being the increasing cases of COVID-19.
Hi guys, my name is Ariana Peters. I'm the Executive Vice President of Student Government Association, and I'm a senior majoring in biology so I can be an orthodontist in the future. For the time capsule, I chose to put in a TWU mask so the future students can see how it was when we had to wear a mask in public at all times on campus, and how we had virtual class so we wouldn't have to go on campus to keep everybody safe during the pandemic. I also chose to put in a binder full of the top 10s of the year. So the top 10 news stories, top 10 shows, movies, books, artists, everything, just so they have an idea to know what was hot in pop culture and everything that was crazy in 2020 this year. I also chose to put in a roll of toilet paper just in case there is another toilet paper Armageddon and there's a shortage. At least we have one more roll of toilet paper in our area.
My name is David Sweeten and I'm the director of the Student Union. I have several items to place in the time capsule today, including letters from the student staff and full-time staff here in the Union, a program from the grand opening, an American flag that was flown over the construction site, and my project notes. I also made a photo book documenting the construction project from start to finish.
This flag is very important because it was flown over Hubbard Hall as it was being built to become our new student union. David Sweeten gifted it to SGA, and it was signed by the class of 2024 during our Pioneer Camp kickoff dinner, August 2019. This constitution is important because this is how SGA is currently being run. I know that changes will come in the next 30 years, so it will be great to look back at what it is like now. I wanted to just add a shirt in here as well to show some TWU and SGA pride. We love a nice t-shirt, always. As we wrap up this semester, this year, and seal the time capsule, the major takeaway I got from this crazy year of 2020, and probably a majority of us living in this time have realized, is that personal connections matter. We used to get that with going to class, organization meetings, and school events. Now we're all zoomed out. You see what I did there? But seriously, we have lived our entire lives in a normal state up until this year, and it's a territory that we've never touched. Lots of things have changed for people, and we can only hope and pray that the future treats us better. And I know it will. 2050 is a while away, but I know that if we put our mind to it and we put our grind to it, we can do it. Happy holidays, everyone, and stay safe.